Hello friends, welcome. If we haven't met yet, my name's Jay. I'm one of the coaches here at The Hill. But in addition to coaching at The Hill, I also am a physical therapy student at KU Med, and I teach yoga as well. So that's a little bit of where my love kind of for stretching, breath work, all the stuff about recovery, it's where that love comes from. So most of what these videos are going to focus on, just a little bit of mobility work, some stretching, some ideas for mobility work at home, just to give you a little bit of time to recover. So can be done just right after your WOD if you want to use them as a cool down. Also really good for maybe like before bed. I always like to do a little bit of stretching just to kind of calm everything down. You can also do them just on a rest day, kind of to use as a little bit of time for self-care. Give yourself a little bit of time to kind of recover and just gift that to yourself. So for today's, we've had a lot of jump rope, a lot of running in some of the home WODs. We've also just had a lot of time maybe barefoot around the house because we don't have to put on shoes to go anywhere. So a lot of what we're going to do today is going to focus on ankles and feet, kind of give them a little bit of love because sometimes they just kind of get forgotten. So that's what we'll do today. So we'll just hop right into it. For today, you don't really need any equipment for most of these really, but for today especially. I'm on my yoga mat just because it's kind of comfortable for me and for grip. So if you want to roll one out of those, you can. I grabbed a pillow as well because that's going to come in handy for a few of the things we'll do. So if you want to take a moment, pause, and go grab some of those things, feel free. But otherwise, we'll just hop right into it. We're going to start in a child's pose. So this is going to just give us a nice big stretch through the front of our ankles and down into the tops of our feet. So what we're going to do here, we're going to bring our knees nice and wide, wider than our hips. If we've got a yoga mat, we'll go about the full width of our yoga mat. We'll point our toes, and then we'll bring our big toes together to touch behind us. Hands can just kind of walk out in front of us, and then we're just going to sink our hips back onto our heels as far as they'll go. If they don't reach all the way onto the heels, that's totally all right. And then once you find that comfortable position, you can just rest forehead on your mat or the floor. And one of our options here, so if you've got a pillow, if this feels like a really intense stretch on the front of your ankles, what we can do is actually bring that pillow kind of right underneath us, and then we'll put our shins and tops of our ankles on that pillow. So we're going to take a little bit of that stretch away, which is okay. Just going to start us off nice and easy. And then while we're here, we'll just take some nice big old deep breaths. Again, give yourself a little bit of that time to recover, taking a big breath in, trying to push your belly out as far as you can. And then breathe out, just let all that air sink out. And big breath in. Bigger breath out. Big breath in, fill up. And big breath out, let it go. And let's just keep that breath going here, about 5 more breaths, just on your own pace. Continuing to reach fingertips as far as we can out in front of us. Get a nice big old stretch through the shoulders as well with this. Alright, to ease our way out of that, we'll slowly kind of just rise up onto our hands. If we were on that pillow, we can scoot that pillow to the side. And wherever we are, let's just kind of bring our knees closer in together. So knees now are just going to be kind of right underneath my hips. They don't have to be super wide or super close. And let's go ahead. We're going to come onto our toes now. So our toes are going to be tucked underneath us. We want to take a moment here. So again, this is going to be a big stretch for the bottoms of our feet. Also kind of into the back of our ankle as well. So if we want to take a second, what I like to do in this is kind of like untuck the toes behind me. And then we're going to start with hands just down on the floor or your mat. We're going to get a little bit of weight onto the foot. So if you're already feeling like a pretty big stretch, you can just stay here. You can pause here. We're not going to be here a super long time, but need to be able to tolerate this stretch for at least like 30 seconds-ish. So if you want to start here and stay here, you're more than welcome to. If you want to slowly start to walk hands up, You can either just kind of rest hands on your thighs here, maybe trying to sit up nice and tall. And if you want to reach hands kind of for your ankles as well and place them on your heels, that's also another option. But wherever we are, let's sit up nice and tall. If we're on our hands, we can still think about kind of opening up our chest, squeeze our shoulder blades together behind us. And then take a big old breath in. And breath out. Again, not here a super long time, just take a few more deep breaths. Alright, if we're on up, let's go ahead and walk back to our hands. If you're already on your hands, kind of walk hands even farther forward. Ooh, and we'll untuck the toes. Just take a little moment here, no rush, getting out of things. And however you want to get there, let's just kind of come to a seat. So you can sit cross-legged, if that's comfortable for you. If you do want to kind of make your way to a chair to sit and maybe cross one leg over the opposite, you can do that as well. So what we're going to do next, again, a little bit more love for our feet, for our toes especially too. So something that kind of gets forgotten a lot. So what we're going to do, we can sit cross-legged. If you want to bring one foot on top of your opposite calf, you can, just because you're going to need access to your feet. So what we're going to do, not just a little bit of massage, but I'm going to try as best as we can to take our 4 fingers besides our thumb, and then we're going to kind of get them in between our toes. For a lot of us, this is super hard, and that's totally okay. If you can't get a finger in between each toe, that's totally okay. Start with what you can. Maybe you can get one finger in between your big toe and your second toe and starting to start to work there. That's all right. Again, our feet a lot of times just get pretty smashed up just from being in shoes all day, from not getting a lot of attention. So that's kind of what we're trying to break with this. So once we've got our fingers in there, you can just wiggle them around. Do whatever feels good. There's no like specific thing we got to hold or anything, just kind of giving them a little bit of a stretch. We don't really ever get anything in between our toes, so it's really nice for them. The first time I ever did this, I felt like I had brand new feet. It was kind of crazy. So again, we're just going to be about 1 minute to 2 minutes here per foot. I like to do this kind of like every time I feel the bottom of my arch kind of start to ache, sometimes maybe after a run or after a lot of double unders. Really, really good one just to throw in. Spend a few minutes giving your feet some love. You can take the toes into a big stretch, kind of pulling them down towards the sole of your foot, and then stretching them up towards the top of your foot. All right. Let's go ahead and switch so we can get that foot placed down on the floor. Take a few minutes here getting onto the other foot. We'll kind of pull that up onto the calf. And then again, same thing. We'll take our 4 fingers. We'll try to get them in between our toes as much as we can. For me, this foot always seems to be a little bit harder. So one foot might be more tough than the other, but again, give yourself a little bit of grace here. If you got one finger in between 2 toes, that's all right. You can kind of start there. If you want to just spend your time also just kind of pulling apart 2 toes, I mean, even that is going to give a really good stretch in between the toes. Some muscles there that really never get this range of motion if we don't kind of take them into that range. So again, whatever you got, and then we'll spend a little bit over 1 minute here just working on that foot. If you want to continue that kind of breath work, okay, nice big deep breaths, especially if we are doing this before bed. Really awesome, just kind of down regulate our whole system. Give yourself a little bit of time to chill. So taking big breaths in, trying to pull that air into our belly. And then open mouth, just kind of let all that air sink back out. Still so good. All right. We can go ahead and set that foot aside now. We're going to come into our just final little resting pose here, kind of a twist. So this is another one where you might want a pillow, just feels a little bit better. So it's going to go between our knees. So this one is going to just be laying on our back to start. And then with that pillow, let's just go ahead and place it between our knees if we've got it. If you don't have a pillow, you didn't want to grab one, that's really okay. You can do this without as well. So I'm going to hug that pillow between my knees. And then with both my knees first, I'm just going to start and go over towards my left. So I'm going to twist that way, let my left knee come and rest on the floor. And then again, that pillow is just there to kind of be a little bit of cushion between your knees. So we're going to keep that hug down. If your right knee is popping off of that pillow, that's all right. You can use left hand to kind of help weight that right knee down. With our right hand, let's take it out nice and wide, palm facing up. And a big old stretch through our chest and upper back as well. And then if you want to take the left hand out to a T as well, you can. We're just going to rest here. Spend a little bit of time in this position, taking big old deep breaths in to the belly. And on your exhale, just seeing where you can relax a little bit more. Kind of releasing hold of some of our muscles. A lot of times, like right after a workout, or even just throughout our day, we kind of tend to hold on to some tension in a lot of places, and we don't really notice it. So when we take this time just in some chill poses, it gives us that time to let our body just kind of totally sink in and release hold some of those tight spots. If you haven't already and you want to close your eyes, go ahead. Slowly we'll start to take it to the other side. So bring knees right back up over our hips. And we'll keep squeezing that pillow between the knees just nice and gently. It doesn't have to be like a firm squeeze. And then we'll take both knees over to the right knee will touch the floor. Again, if that left knee wants to kind of come up off the pillow, we can just use that right hand, kind of help guide it down. Bring our low back into a little bit more of a twist as well. So once we're here, if left hand wants to reach out long, palm up. If right hand wants to do the same thing, go ahead and let it. And on this side, same thing. Just shutting down our eyes, taking some big old deep breaths in through our nose and out through our mouth. Letting our full body relax now. A beautiful stretch for our low back as well. I know I've had a lot of time sitting. As much as we try to stand during the day, it all takes a toll on our low backs. This is also beautiful for that. Slowly start to make our way out of this one. So from here, we'll just kind of roll all the way onto our right side. So we will reach right arm up overhead. Head can rest on that right bicep. Left hand can just come onto the floor. You kind of push on up nice and easy. Whew. All right, guys, that is all I've got for you today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for taking a little bit of time, carving out some time to give your feet and ankles a little bit of love. I know they'll thank you for it, especially in the morning when you wake up. So that's all I got. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I will see you again very soon.